I got a letter, a really well-written letter. I'm not going to share too much, but it was two people who, one of them had a series of odd experiences. Some of them involved owls, and he was driving across southern Idaho, and I kind of know the route. I don't want to say too much. He's very private, but there was what amounted to, there was a sudden, like they traveled too fast. They arrived at the spot. It should have been about a 5-hour drive, 4.5-hour drive. It ended up to be about an 1.5-hour drive, and they still had a full tank of gas. There was a gas station. They always got gas when they did this long drive, and they still had a full tank of gas. They were ahead of time with gas at the gas station. There's this hill, and it overlooks the gas station. I thought to myself, I know that gas station. I've been to that gas station before. Now, I went into this gas station. This would have been years ago, probably 18 or 15, between 15 and 18 years ago, somewhere around there. And I bought 2 UFO books on cassette tape. You know, they had little racks before they had, smartphones and things like that. You would buy cassettes of audiobooks, and they come in a little box, little packet. But the one was a book called Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind by C.B. Bryant, which was about a symposium that they held at MIT. It's an excellent book. And the other one was a book called Fast Walker, which was a fiction book by Jacques Vallée. And so it just always struck me, like, why are these like really obscure UFO books here at this gas station? Like, there was totally Llewellyn Moore, and it was straight up like John Grisham and Stephen King kind of books. And then these kind of outlying were these funny UFO books. So that was at that gas station, and I can't separate the weirdness from my wondering, why did these books there, to later finding out that these guys had what amounted to a gained time experience, not a missing time experience, a gained time experience at the same location. That's like a small little thing, but that's one more of those things that feels like it's at the beginning of the movie where it's setting the tone for the eerie mood.
That falls into what you would call synchronicity. And synchronicity plays just such a huge role in all these different overlays and how they interconnect. And that series of synchronicities or connecting points, I would even call them data points. That's personally how I would look at it. But that's what has really led your journey. And you've had quite a long journey. You had over a decade of pursuing those data points and tying them together. Can you tell us a little bit more about some of those synchronicities and how they almost seem way too overlapped or way too synced up to be coincidence? Can you share some more of those?
Well, I'll try to share some with some owls in them. Let me think for a second. So at this point, so synchronicity by definition is a meaningful coincidence. There's other people that have different definitions, but that's kind of the on the street definition. And then, so owls, UFOs, and synchronicity, that's right in the subtitle of my first book. And those 3 things I'm treating and weighting equally in my research. So if someone has a powerful UFO sighting, that's a given. That's a powerful event. Someone has a powerful owl sighting. Like, I know people who have had owl sightings that have changed their life. And then synchronicity, someone can have a powerful synchronicity, and it can also have a very transformative experience in your life. You said, so I've been so immersed in this stuff, and synchronicities have been so intertwined with this that I'm now, I'm treating, synchronicity has been my compass on how I lead my life. And it's the reason I've been writing these books, because synchronicity kind of forced me into it. Now, a husband and wife team were making a documentary. The documentary was about synchronicity. The title of the documentary is Time is Art, and it's about synchronicity. And they followed this woman around who was having a lot of synchronicities. And it's a nicely done documentary. It's worth watching. It's available on YouTube or Vimeo. So Time is Art, and they were shooting footage in the Mission District of San Francisco, and there's all this art. So there's this creative aspect that's interwoven in this. So there's art on the murals in the Mission District of San Francisco. So the footage is of these. There's owls in these paintings, and there's even one painting that has an owl, and then a gray alien within the same painting, and also a flying saucer, and then a Native American shamans performing a ritual. It's all kind of blended together, and that's right in the documentary. So they close up of UFO, close up of the owl, close up of the gray alien, right in the documentary. As they're shooting this, they set their camera down, but they didn't realize that they left the camera running. So they set it down as just shooting blank footage off in space. And it's got this skyline of some trees. And then this structured craft, this structured UFO, I don't know what it is, descends into the field. It is high definition video. It's on my blog. They've done nothing with this video. They haven't tried to take advantage of it or promote it. It's in the movie, but they don't make a big deal of it. This UFO passes. It's there for 2 seconds. It passes from the top of the frame and gets lost behind some trees. So someone's making a documentary about synchronicity. They're videotaping owls, and they capture a flying UFO during the production. So that's all three of them that all collide together. So yeah, I mean, and then I will also say that the woman filmmaker, her name is Katie Walker, has been very open about her experiences, and she had what very much sounds like a direct contact experience, which she talks about, which I wrote about in the book. So.
Wow, I don't even know what to say to that.
So that's the problem, isn't it? I mean, you're confronted with this kind of it's like which thread do you pull on, right? The knot is so tangled up and mired, and it's all tangled up, and the little threads are coming out of it. And you pull any one thread, and it's connected to all the other threads. It gets, and that's what I've been finding, is that oftentimes people's experiences and people's oh, you hear the thunder in the background? I don't know if you can hear that or not. It's raining. There's thunder in the background right now. I don't know if you can hear it through the microphone. So that's the problem, is that these things are so tightly woven together that it's impossible to know, where one story ends and one story begins, kind of thing.
Well, and with that, I think our psyche, as humans, we like to think that we know what's going on. We like to feel like we have a sense of normal. But when it comes to things that fall into this other realm, this other category, we don't know really where to place those things, except for based on our past experience. Okay, how does this compare to, the rest of my life? And for it to fit into that other category, it would have to be outside of what you feel like is normal, being paranormal, I guess, or extra normal. It's just kind of bizarre if you think about our experiences. Never, that's where I don't feel like I can discount people's experiences, because it's their experience. Have you found that in people reaching out to you, that when they share those details, how open are they to sharing that because you've had a similar experience or something that fits in the same category?
Well, there's something that happens where oftentimes you talk to someone and they'll have what I call the surface story. I saw a UFO. I was driving at night. I saw this UFO. It was really interesting. And then you'll talk and you'll have a couple phone calls, and you get to another phone call, and then they'll tell you some of the weirdest stuff. So you sort of need to win their trust. And then you get the very, very strange stories that come out after the surface story is shared. But what I try to, and given the type of research I do and this type of experiences I document, oftentimes it's these very weird things. I was reading your book, and you said something about I can't think of a good example off the top of my head, but people will say from your book, there was one little small detail that just rocked me. I didn't expect that to be so powerful. I never knew that was connected. And now I can't think of a good example. It goes way beyond just simple owls.
So something that I'd like to share, just kind of shifting gears, and maybe we can loop back in if you remember what you were going to share, maybe it'll trigger. But this is a local story to us. It's within 45 minutes of where I sit right now, but we're also talking, early 1940, I think, is when the story